Let's hear it for Brandon Routh. I'm kind of like speechless, to be honest. There's a Superman right next to me. This is awesome, guys. Well, welcome to San Antonio. How's it been for you so far?
It's been great, thank you.
Is this your first time in Texas? We got more questions.
Not my first time. This is at least my third time, if not fourth or fifth.
So we got a lot of questions, obviously, here.
And get rid of me.
We love having you here. Everyone's excited. Look at this full house here. This is amazing. So I want to start off with this question of who was the first person you told as soon as you were cast as Superman?
My parents.
And what was their response when you told them? Did they believe you?
Oh yeah. They've been waiting to hear that for 7 months. So at that point, they screamed and cried, and that was the best. Yeah.
So was Superman one of your heroes growing up as a child? Like most of us, it was a lot of those amazing comic characters. Was Superman the top one for you?
Yeah. I was asking the question quite like that, or I'm receiving the question differently. I didn't grow up on comic books because they just weren't in my family didn't, and the friends weren't. That wasn't the jam. In Norwalk, Iowa, where I was with the friend group that I was in, but I knew the movie, and a very vivid memory of watching the movie on TV for the first time because I was too young for when the film came out, just barely in the theater, and so I always loved Superman. And I got into my geekdom went into the fantasy realm, so paladins and that kind of a thing, and that lore. So when I played Warcraft and all the Magic the Gathering and all that, I had a white and a green player, and I'm a healer and all that stuff. So for all those people, so that's where my hero as a youth went. But it's all based off of that same thing. I mean, Chris is Superman, and how that movie was written. That's the inner core of my Superman. So, which is, matches up with kind of who I am, and my parents helped raise me to be too. So, it's good.
I love you mentioned your guilty pleasures. You're a true nerd, it seems like, Brandon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love it. We're all nerds here, right?
That's what we're here for. It's all the people doing all their fantasy football. Not that everybody here can do fantasy football too, but I'm picking out the sports people. Looking down on some people that might come to this thing when they're nerding out and away from their families and gambling their money away on that. Anyway, enough of that. Service announcement.
Well, we got a question from Cece that I think most of us have. How did it first feel when you put on the suit the very first time? And also, I want to know for your audition process, did they have you put on a suit, and which suit was it?
I have multiple answers for that. The first time I was ever in a Superman suit was for my first screen test, which was with a different director, and it was a foam suit made by Stan Winston's team, and it was a one-size-fits-all prototype type of a thing that I think myself and the other 5 or 6 guys who were also screen testing at the time were in. And I wasn't even the tallest one. I think it was somebody taller than I was. But I was second tallest, I think. I didn't really fit in it very well. But we made it work, and it was pretty cool. And I remember I was waiting till they were ready for me on set. And so it's like, okay, I guess I'm just sitting in this little green room area. I grabbed a magazine and sat down and laughed to myself as I crossed my legs and sat. I was in my Superman suit reading in the newspaper. So that was funny. And then for Superman Returns, when I was finally in the suit, it was kind of somewhat anticlimactic because it was a whole wardrobe costume fitting process. So I wasn't in the full suit for a little while. It was like pieces, and I didn't stand forever, and they were drawing lines on me, and so it's going to look like this and that. First time I walked onto set, and and other people saw me, that's when it was the coolest time. Because then other people were like, oh, it's Superman. I was like, I think so. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Well, how did you prepare to play the role of Superman mentally and physically?
I didn't have to do anything.
I see it. It makes sense. Look at him. Already Superman from birth, from the get-go.
I had a lovely and wonderful acting coach, Tanya Beresin, who was in Sydney, Australia with us. And we did a lot of kind of we didn't call it meditation at the time, but that's kind of what it was. Meditating and thinking and dreaming and asking about what it'd be like to be, graceful and the most powerful being on earth, and, trying to figure out other characters that were kind of like this, or archetypes for this type of guy, this type of hero. So it was just a lot of that, of imagining, and then a lot of character work, physical work, as far as working with Terry Notary, another wonderful artist, and who's done amazing things since. He was in Cirque du Soleil, and he was my movement coach. So he helped me learn to walk more gracefully, and with all the flying and everything. So yeah, had some really great people surrounding to help me try to do the impossible, The Clark was pretty easy for me. I am Clark most of the time. Either a mix between Clark and Ray Palmer. Superman, I'm kind of finally going I think I get this a little bit better. I feel more comfortable in this position, which is why it was great when I fast forward to Crisis on Infinite Earths, got to return to actually kind of feel more like Superman, but the Clark stuff is already pretty much there.
I mean, that movie, you're the perfect Clark, perfect Superman in my eyes and their eyes, for sure. This is a great question from Isaiah. We all want to know, how was the flying experience? As a kid, we all grew up wanting to be like Superman or fly like a superhero. What was that like?
It's a great question. It was a lot of fun. I don't have the fear of heights, but I kind of get motion sickness. I have in the past with quick falls and spins and anything with the digital screens, all the digital screen rides. Anybody else have that problem? I can't even but that actually wasn't a problem, thankfully. But it's a pretty big thrill to be strung up about this high. Maybe a little bit, maybe another 10 feet. It was 40, 50 foot ceiling. 30?
I don't want to think about it.
Anyway, 40, 50 feet. And then it's awesome. It was always awesome. What wasn't awesome is the fact they have to wear a harness on your body and then a Superman suit on top of it, and then do it a lot, more than once, and for months on end. So that was a little bit wearing, but overall it was amazing. The best part of the flying stuff was some of the training, and there were various different ways that they helped me fly on the wires, but then also we had turntables and things we turned to that were fun. So then it was an angled thing for my feet to go, so my toes were down, and the camera would fly around as I just was swimming, basically. And the coolest thing about flying was when we did it outside, when they would string up, for the Kitty Kowalski scene, when I'm going to take her to the airport, to the hospital. We were actually, we went all on the same rig, on the same wire pole, not wire pole, but the same ride. So that was pretty awesome, because it felt like I was really doing it.
I have a fear of heights, so everything you're explaining just scares me to death.
I figured they had a lot. I just kept thinking, put a lot of money in this movie. I think I'm probably okay.
If I had to play a superhero, I'm like, just give me a chauffeur in a car, and I'll get around town saving people that way. But I might not do very well with that. But Brandon, We have a question here. Is about, you all watched different Superman growing up. I'm sure you did as well. How did you make this one your own?
I just, as I said in the beginning, Chris was my core. I added to Clark some pieces that were just from me, which was a little more excitement about being in the world, maybe, or what I perceived as more excitement about being in the world and being engaged and seeing people, especially since he's just come back after having been gone for a while. But so his quirkiness or his clumsiness might just come out of just really being in the moment, just being kind of excited that he gets to be human and live the human experience. And then for Superman, again, and Clark too, it's all this similar chorus, Chris, and that's Superman to me. And then did my best to do more work on the physical side, to be more graceful since we had more technology to make the flying look as good as possible and smooth. And then just follow the script.
And I'm gonna keep saying it, it's probably one of my favorite Superman movie. I just watched it recently again, and there's so many great scenes. I mean, so many iconic scenes. Everything looks great too, even years later. I just love it. Do you have a favorite scene or moment from that movie? I like the scene where you approach Lois, who's smoking on this roof, and you kind of take her away. But that's probably one of my favorite scenes from that film, amongst others. What about you?
I love the Kitty Kowalski scene. That's a wonderful scene that you're mentioning. I liked that scene because and the just before when I pick up or catch the car, put it down, because that was very iconic. And also I got to be like kind of charming Superman for the only time in the movie, other than the plane, after rescue the plane and get on the plane. But I like that because I didn't get to do. I mean, that was all I got to do. The more fun, joyful side of Superman. And then I really just love the scene with Jason in the bedroom when giving him the Jor-El speech. I wasn't a father at that time, but I just like, for me at that stage in my life as a 25-year-old, when I did that scene, I was like, this is good work. And I was really proud of myself for that because I was in touch with some, some good deep feeling, and sort of like that.
Gotta know, did you take anything from the set?
Not enough.
So let's go through a list of everything.
It's a short list. I kept saying I think I have a business card from Clark Kent's desk, the day of the planet. And I have a wig curl that was never actually used, but was made in case my hair wasn't up to the task, but it was in our amazing hair and makeup team. So they framed it for me and gave it to me. Kenny, they named him Kenny the Curl.
I love that. I want to shift a little bit towards the Arrowverse side of things, but how would you compare being Superman to being the Atom on Arrow? What similarities did they have, both of those characters, and big differences?
A lot of similarities. Big difference being the suit, birthplace. That's pretty much the difference. Ray is Superman in training, in a way. Ray's a big puppy dog, and Clark wants to be a puppy dog, but knows that you still have to be a big dog too. I don't know, something about that. Like Ray's so in and excited about sharing and learning and all that stuff, he gets a little carried away. Speaking to myself. And you got to realize that there's the other side of life too, which there's light and dark, there's good and bad. It's a balance of all that, So Ray is learning that journey more than Superman is. These kind of differences.
Well, it must have been a blast being on that set of Legends of Tomorrow. Any fond memories or favorite moments from that set?
A lot of wonderful moments. We had a fantastic cast, wonderful crew, all became family. Spending all that time up there. I especially loved when Nick Zano came on the show, and we had a lot of fun in scenes. There's Ray and Nate just doing silly stuff that we're like, oh, see if this makes the cut. This is really silly but funny. So that added a lot of fun. It's just awesome that the show has meant so much to all our wonderful fans. It is and was such a unique storytelling device, and the characters that I love those guys, and I'm happy that we were able to do it for as long as we did.
One of the questions we have here is your favorite Arrowverse crossover.
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh, come on, that's not a great one. We know why. Can you talk about your new suit for that crossover?
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I love my Superman Returns suit. This suit, nearly 15 or so years later, a lot of technology had changed and shifted. Man, that thing was a dream to put on compared to the old version. So that was a great part of it. And it's a beautiful suit. I mean, it's a beautiful design and powerful, and it's a shame they made it just for a couple episodes of that show.
Did you take that home?
You kidding? I said, can we work into my contract that I get a Superman Returns suit if I do this one again? I would have to steal it to get it. They won't give me a suit. They don't trust me with it. I think I'm gonna rob a bank or something.
Or save a bank.
Save a bank. I think I will stop. I think I will draw the line there probably. I'm trying to keep the reality the reality.
For the new suit, when you first put it on, who was the first people to see you in it, and what was their reaction?
Well, other than the wardrobe, costume people. I showed it to my buddy, Sam Huntington. Sam Huntington, Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, Jimmy Olsen.
Sam, I probably texted him, which I wasn't supposed to, and sent him a video. And he was freaking out. It was so much fun to be able to share that with him.
That's a great looking suit. I want my own, if I can find it on eBay.
Let's get them.
I want to talk about Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Gotta mention that. Such a fun character, Todd Ingram. What drew you to that role initially?
Edgar Wright.
It was great. Edgar Wright's a genius.
Genius film, just a genius and just a fantastic human being. That was it, because I remember watching. It's more than that, but that was the first thing. I was in, this is Superman related, okay? So I was in Sydney, Australia, watching, I don't know which movie, August, or I don't know, it doesn't matter, Brandon, it doesn't matter the details. I was watching the previews for whatever movie I was gonna see, and there was a preview for Shaun of the Dead. I was like, oh, yeah! I was like, this is awesome. So that was the first time I knew who Edgar Wright was, and I was excited since that moment. And then love everything he does. And I said yes to the meeting instantly. And then I read a book, I probably read at least to book 3, where Todd comes in before I met with Edgar. And then I was totally in from the beginning. But then it was just awesome to be able to play this ridiculous over-the-top bad guy, because I don't really like playing bad guys, but I don't like really playing bad guys unless they're ridiculous. And he's the most ridiculous one, so I enjoy playing him.
Any fun stories about being on set for that? Because there's a lot of that's a great cast, first of all. I love everybody that's in that, and it's a wild list of names.
Yeah, everybody's great. just fun times. We had a great time. We became a little family up there for a little while. I was only there for a month, and they continued on for, I don't know, 7 more months. Every ex got a month. We had a lot of vegan and vegetarian food, though I did not go full vegan for the experience. It was just great.
So you also
the coffee was had on set. Yeah.
So you also returned for the animated series.
Oh yeah.
Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. Y'all watch that yet? If you haven't, highly recommend it.
Yes.
How'd they pitch you that?
Hey Brandon, we're making an animated series for Scott Pilgrim. Are you in? Yes.
They didn't have to sell you at all. You're all in to return.
It's the best. I was there. Thankfully, everyone else was smart, as I knew they would be, and said yes too. I mean, it's the only experience I have like this. I mean, you know, obviously, Legends is a Legends family, but Scott Pilgrim is different because it was a movie, and it was, you know, for whatever reason, it didn't make the splash that it could have and should have when it came out. But now, like, people, like, we got a good, people love it because it is something that should be loved and appreciated. So anytime I get to hang out with those people and be a part of it, it's fantastic.
What'd you love most about the voice acting aspect?
Get to be even bigger and sillier. I've never done a manga style animation, which is different than other animation because I could watch their faces. So they liked to be in the recording booth because they're like, yeah, he's actually doing it like the animation. Where he would you'd see him talk, gasp, or do a face, and then I'd do that, I'd feel that. They did a physicality, and then I just added to it, because they did the animation first with a lot of it. There's a moment when I'm running, and I think it's in the theater, the last episode, where I'm running up the stairs, and I saw the animation, so then I just, because scripted it said that he runs up the stairs, you know. But I made it sobbing and crying and different levels and stuff to make it funny because I knew it was going to this. So I got to be part of the comedic aspect in another way. Yeah.
No, it's a great animated series. It's a great movie as well. We have a question here. What is it like working on The Rookie with Nathan Fillion?
Yeah.
Where's our Rookie fans at? Yeah, there we go.
Speaking of other fantastic human beings, Nathan Fillion has been a friend for a little while, and during, we were halfway through COVID times, and he texted me and said, hey, I got this role on season 3 of The Rookie. It's kind of, it's a lot, but would you be interested? And I said, tell me more. And then I've been wanting to work with him forever, not doing a drama, do comedy with him, but anyway, it was amazing to work with him and to be thought of for that. It was a real challenging experience. Wasn't the most fun work experience I've had, though they were lovely people. I think to have some nice moments, but it's a heavier thing to kind of inhabit. Oh my gosh, what's going on?
A lot of great projects you have been a part of, though, from The Rookie.
I can't remember the character's name. I had it, and then it escaped.
Yeah,
just talk over it. Just keep going. Nothing happened here. Nothing.
I'm gonna help you out. Well, we got from Superman to Scott Pilgrim to The Rookie. What other types of genres you want to jump into that you haven't done yet?
No.
No.
The joke's not there. Okay. I'm a big fantasy geek nerd. So I want to do a medieval fantasy.
Can we get you in the next D&D movie? The next D&D movie needs you.
I mean, look, everybody knows where I am.
It's in San Antonio.
They just got to get the people that actually play the things more often. I'm passionate about this. I'm not the biggest D&D person, but I do love D&D. I'm not going to misrepresent myself, but Magic, I was part of the Magic Gathering series, which unfortunately is not going, even though we recorded that animated thing. But yeah, anyway, it's bound to happen.
We gotta get you in that fantasy realm for sure. I gotta ask, any advice for the future of Superman? Because, it's gonna keep on going for decades and decades and generations. Any advice for the next person that puts on those boots?
I think the biggest thing for me about Superman is always recognizing the non-physical superpowers that he has. It can be cheesy to relate it to teach a man to fish story, but quite literally, that is how I see it, and it is very apropos to being the thing. If you save people all the time, everywhere, maybe they never learn how to save themselves. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't save them necessarily, but it just means that the teaching, the personality, the aspect, the human communication, the understanding that Superman can give us of inclusion, and just, to me, Superman's pure love. He doesn't judge. Like, he has to make some hard choices and stop people from doing the bad things, but my goal for Superman is that he's the guy that everybody can be in their person, maybe without all the flying and all the other stuff, but like, he's an example, the best of humanity. And he can teach us to do that, not just by his actions, but by actually, calling out the truth and authenticity. Because that's what, I'm going real here, people, that's what we need. That's what I'm learning in my life. I've been too nice a lot of my life. I'm a good guy from Iowa. I don't want to ruffle any feathers or say anything that will upset anybody or call somebody out for saying something that was really crappy. But there's a way. I'm learning there's a way to do that. Little interrupts that you can do for people who are saying things that they probably shouldn't be saying. I'm not going to give you all of them, but you look it up. It's like, somebody says something crappy to your friend or your family, whether they're there or not. You just go say, "I'm sorry, what was that? Could you repeat that? Oh, tell me more." Wow, that's really interesting. Anyway, it's the first one, really. Then I was just improvising. But I reflect back to people, I try to, when they say something that skips the record, I try not to let that stuff go by. You don't have to be a jerk and be like, "What did you say?" Because that's going to start a fight. We've got too much of that. Anyway, that's my message for the day. Peace and love.
Brandon, you really brought Superman back at a time that we really needed Superman, and after that, everything Superman came out. So you came at the right time, and definitely the best Superman out there. Brandon